Hope I got her. Okay, guys, so we're going to talk about the urinary system. I do apologize for not getting this out as quickly as I can, mostly due to the fact that, again, having issues with a newborn. So also, if you hear any noises or anything that are going on in the background, that's my daughter. She's actually currently on my lap because that's about the only way I can get her to sleep. So just an FYI, ignore those. Okay, so we're going to talk about the urinary system. So we're going to just mostly, I want you to be able to know the major organs and kind of the structure in this video. And then we'll kind of talk about how the function of the kidneys work and everything like that, and urination will occur in the next video. Okay? So whenever you think of the urinary system, I want you to think of the principal organ of the urinary system, which is going to be your kidneys. Again, your kidneys are basically how everything works together, how we are able to regulate our system. If you don't have your kidneys, a lot of times you have a lot of stuff in your body that you don't want to have. The idea behind this whole urinary system is to basically, using the blood, be able to filter out the not so great stuff in our body and basically maintain a good internal fluid environment within the normal limits. We don't want toxins in there. We don't want anything. We don't want too much water. We want to have a nice regular content. Okay. So the big one that we're going to talk about is obviously going to be dealing with your kidneys. Okay. The second thing that you're going to have, a lot of times we'll have our adrenal gland, we've got our spleen and our liver. They all play a role in getting those filtering out those bad particles into our blood. But at the end of the day, what gets them through there is going to be our kidneys. And then we have our urethra, which is going to go to our bladder. Okay, so the idea here is that we have our bladder here is going to go ahead and excrete whatever we have through our urethra. Okay. Okay. So, the idea here is that your kidneys are actually up higher. They're closer to your stomach than you think you realize. And they're more up in your chest cavity. And the idea is that they want to be close to where you're going to get all of your toxins and stuff found at. Okay. So that's why we have them up there. Again, they're looking to filter out the toxins as well in the form of making it into urea, your pee. Okay. So they're going to be like a little bit of like an ovally shaped, kind of closer to what a lymph node looks like, if you remember from back when we talked about the lymphatic system. Okay. They approximately 11 centimeters by 7 centimeters by 3 centimeters. They're going to be within your vertebrae column, specifically between T12 and L3. Okay, so they're going to be found on either side of there, pretty much close to your rib cage area. The bottom of your rib cage is the best idea, would be the best way to state this. And that's where they'll be found. Okay. They basically, what you want to make sure you realize here is that within these kidneys, you have a lot of other structures that are very close by. Specifically, we've also got the renal artery, the renal vein, etc., etc. So what's going to basically hold those together to that is going to be what we call the renal fascia, which allows for them to stay towards the other structures. And then you also have what we call this fat capsule, essentially fat pad, renal fat pad, and that's going to basically cushion the fat around the surrounding of each kidney. Okay, so this is typically what the structure of a kidney would look like. The big idea is here, you've got a lot of fat located within your kidney area, okay, and that's just mostly used for protection to keep your kidney functioning and also keep your kidney from getting any type of damage and anchoring it to the other areas. Okay, your urethra is going to be what you basically, after all of the urea has been made up, is going to exit out that way. Okay, again, this is just another picture here. Okay, so inner structures of the kidney, you've got your renal cortex and renal medulla. Okay, they're going to be the outer and inner regions within your kidney. Again, so anytime you see renal, area here. This is going to be the inner and outer structures. Okay, renal pyramids. So that's going to be your medullary tissue. Okay, renal columns. They're going to be any areas in which the cortical tissue dips into the medulla between the pyramids. Again, the calyx, which are going to be cup-like structures at the end of the basically this calyx is going to just be a little area that collects the urine. And the renal pelvis, again, this is going to be essentially connecting your kidney to the urethra, which is going to allow for you to be able to drain urine out of your kidney. Okay. So the big blood vessels of the kidneys, your renal artery and your renal vein are very important. And essentially, the whole idea here is, remember, we're using our blood to go ahead and help filter out stuff from our body, okay? So we've got the renal artery, which is going to bring blood into each kidney. Then you've got the interlobar arteries. Essentially, they're going to allow for the blood to spread out through the kidney until we hit the areoles. And those are going to be kind of like essentially the, kind of the capillaries of your kidneys, okay? As you can see, you've got your renal artery, your renal vein, your renal pyramid. Again, they don't show the areoles, but they're all the little tiny ones at the end here, okay? Okay. Now, there's two other major things that we need to talk about, well, three other major things that we need to talk about within the urinary system. Your urethra, which is going to be the tube running from each kidney to the bladder. Okay, so from your kidney to your bladder. Your bladder essentially is going to collect and store all of your urine. Okay, it's kind of like a reservoir before it leaves the body. And essentially what that does is it allows for essentially a pressure buildup that allows for the expulsion through the urethra to expel the urine from the body. If we just, kind of peed every single time that we had, a little bit of urine that expunged from our kidneys, we'd be going all the time. Okay, so the idea here of your bladder is to get some of that, all of it into your body, kind of make like a reservoir so you have, whenever you pee a decent amount. You're not just going every 5 minutes. Okay. Okay, so two different things here. Again, your urethra is going to be found in both male and females. It's just with males, they go in through the penis. You have a little bit different, right? With females, your urethra exits your body right next to your vagina. Okay. And this is just some pictures of what your urethra looks like. And again, that's just kind of like a tube. Your urethra, okay, is just going to be a small tube that's going to extend from essentially your bladder to the end of your body, okay? And like I said, females, it's again going to be close to the vagina. With males, it's going to passes through the prostate gland, and it's going to go ahead and exit through the penis. Okay. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and stop here, I think. Actually, we'll talk about this really quick, and then I think we'll talk about this, and then we'll go ahead and stop from here, okay? So again, remember, I told you your bladder is going to collect all of this urine, okay? It's going to create like essentially a lot of urine concentrated all up in one area. So what happens is that whenever it reaches a point where your bladder, like you feel the need to go, okay, you need to go to the bathroom, you're going to get this what we call uretition contractions, okay? And essentially what they're doing is they're allowing for this urethra sphincter, okay? Usually it remains closed. Now it's going to open up, okay? And therefore it's going to contract and relax to release urine, okay? As you can see, more urine volume you have, more bladder pressure you have, more contractions you have, more likely you are to pee. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and stop here, and we're going to go ahead and make another video. Okay.